Hi everyone, welcome to our video today, which is on getting some good deals at the end of the season at the garden center. So I've gotten some good deals here. It's the end of the gardening season. You're going to find a lot of nurseries are going to be having some sales. So I want to give you some tips on how to get some great deals, what to look for, and then at the end of the video I want to show you exactly what my deals are, what I purchased. So it's getting to be the end of the summer and it's a great time to plant. So the weather's cooling off, we're getting a little more rain, and the soil is still warm enough that it's a good time to plant because your plants will be under less stress, and so will you if it's not so hot. But they'll also have enough time to get settled. So there's a trick or a few tricks to getting some good deals, and I want to share with you what I look for when I'm looking for some good discounted plants. Okay, so let's get right into the tips and tricks to finding some good deals at your garden center. So number one is do a little planning before you go out shopping. So what I mean in particular is think about some gaps in your gardens. So it could be that you have a blank spot that you'd like to fill, or it could also be that you have a lull, not a lot of interest going on at a certain time. So I'm going to show you the spot that I was thinking of, and then you'll get to see the method to my madness of shopping here, and just to show you what I was planning for when I was shopping, just to give you some ideas. So we have this patio in the back here, and you may have seen in some other videos, I have this part sun woodland garden back here that I absolutely love. It's filling in great. But one of the blank spots that I have, which is causing an issue, is I have some spots here among my boulder wall, and you can kind of see it scattered in and out. And the issue back here is I need plants. Yes, I need plants. Of course I do. But I need some plants to control the erosion because the soil and the mulch, when it rains, it just slides off and collects in this little drain here. And you can see here where I have to periodically clean the drain out because it gets filled up with soil and mulch. So gardens can solve a problem and also look beautiful. So I'm thinking about the conditions that I have back here, and in this corner in particular, it's a little more shade. So I'm going to say part shade or part sun, which means it gets about 4 to 6 hours of sun a day. So I have another area on the other side of the garden that's completely filled in and it's full sun with my stone crop, and I'll show you a quick picture of that because it's so beautiful. So I'm looking to do the same here. So I shop with that in mind, and I really suggest that you do as well because gardening takes a little bit of planning and it's not a good deal unless you have a home for it. Okay, so number two, when you go shopping, make sure you look at your tags. So let me get my glasses out here because I want to walk you through this. So I shop around, and what I'm looking for is on the back, especially the sun exposure. So for this bugleweed here, sun or part shade, so I can check that off. And another important thing to look at on your tag is your hardiness zone. So I'm in zone 6B here in Connecticut. This is very important if you want to set your garden up for success. So other than that, I just quickly read through it. You may be looking for something to bloom at a particular time when you have a lull in your garden. So bloom time, this here blooms mid to late spring. The water needs, that's also pretty important. It depends if you're dealing with a moist site or a very dry site. And then I do a quick read here. Now, something here in the description, it says vigorous plants. So I want to talk a little bit more about this at the end of the video when I talk about why I purchased these particular items and what they are here. But when it says vigorous, that is a flag to know that that means the plant can be a little bit aggressive. So for me, I'm kind of looking for that because remember, I have a tough site that I want to get something going to control the erosion. So your tags are your best friends. Okay, number 3 thing that I look for at the nursery is I'm checking the overall health. So there's some important things to know about that. At the end of the season, you're going to see a little bit of yellowing or browning. You can see some dead leaves. And the thing to know about that is you want to make sure that more of the plant is healthy and green versus brown. And I have a picture of what not to buy. So if it's more than 50, 75% brown and dead, it's a no. So these here are all good examples of plants that have a little bit of brown on them, but not enough that I'm going to worry about. You can see a little bit here. So the reason for that is, of course, it's the end of the season and things are starting to die back a little bit. But moreover, it's because nurseries will encounter issues with watering. So plants tend to be either overwatered or underwatered or inconsistently watered. So I'm not worried about that. They can make a comeback if there's a lot of growth on it. So number 2 thing that you're looking for when you're thinking about the health is you want to check them over and make sure there's no bugs or any visible disease. So reputable nurseries are not going to sell you those plants. So I wouldn't worry too much, but it's always a good idea just to do a quick check and then also eyeball on the undersides of the leaves here. So nothing to worry about. So you don't want to bring anything diseased home into your garden. And then the last item that I think about when I'm thinking about health at the nursery is you want to make sure that the plant is pretty established. How I do that is I go ahead and I give it a good tug. And if it's rooted in there, that's great. If it comes right out, so you can see here, this is a good example. So it's really in there. That means it has a nice root system. If it comes right out, then it's not even rooted in there and you're not going to be able to make that plant grow in your garden. So you want to look for a nice root system. Now with that said, because they've been in the pots for the whole season, you might find that your plants are really in there and a little more pot bound. And I have a video on that that I put out last year on how to rescue your pot-bound plants in order to help them succeed. So that's not really an issue that I worry about. I worry more if they have a nice developed root system. And that's it. Those are the basics and some tricks to shopping for some good deals. Now, what I have for my gardens, this is what I picked up for deals. Now, it's a great time to also try something that you haven't tried before, something you've had your eye on, because you're getting it at a discount. So if you're not sure how it's going to do in your garden, it's a good time to just give it a try, right? Why not? We're getting some good sales here. So some different things for me that I picked up are my bugleweed, my ajuga. And I've been thinking about doing this one in particular for quite a while, so I was pretty happy to find it. It's called Burgundy Glow. It is an aggressive ground cover, but remember, I'm looking for something that's really going to fill in my gaps on my boulder wall here. So I would love this if it spread around and it could control some erosion. I'm also getting a little more bang for my buck because it has this beautiful variegated foliage. So it's going to give me more than one season of interest. And next to it, I also have another bugleweed, which is called Black Scallop. So I love experimenting and playing around with some interesting foliage, so I really wanted to try this as well. Now you can already tell that one plant is going to cover a lot of ground. Okay, so I'm pretty happy about that. So another plant that I don't typically plant that I'm trying back here in the same spot is my speedwell. So it's a Veronica. And it says lovely as a small scale ground cover. So I do know a little bit about this plant, and I do know that this can also spread pretty quickly. So these here are going to be my ground covers to fill in my boulder wall in the back here. All right, next, I'm starting a collection of hellebore. This is a great woodland garden plant. So I have two of them here, and they tend to be pretty pricey. So if you can get them on sale, it's pretty wonderful. So I have two varieties. Both are the Wedding Party series. I have a Blushing Bridesmaid and a Flower Girl. Now I featured some a hellebore or two in my part shade garden planting back here, and when we were showing you around what we're trying to fill in, there is another one that's up here, and you can see how well it's done. It's only been here a year, and this one here has some interesting foliage. So I'm excited to try a little bit more of that. And then I found some Japanese primrose. I love the large leaves on this, very healthy plant. You can see what I was talking about with a little bit of browning that I'm not worried about. Looks like it's from inconsistent watering. But what really gets me about this plant is it is a spring bloomer, great in woodland gardens, so part shade or part sun. Is a lot of times the primrose will reflower when it starts to get cooler in the fall. So I saw they're kind of like a hot pink. It says red on the tag. I saw the flowers starting to pop up, and I was pretty excited about it because I'll get some interest with this really great foliage in the woodland garden back here, but also a flower in the spring and possibly in the fall as well. So I picked up 3 of those. And then the last one I'm going to show you, I'm going to throw up a picture. I bought for my daughter Hannah because it was a penstemon and it was a burgundy leaf. So I featured my Midnight Masquerade early summer this year, and I'm so in love with it, and Hannah fell in love with it too. So I found another variety that has a burgundy leaf, and it was a giant, I believe 2-gallon pot, one left on sale, and it was very healthy. So we planted that in her garden over at her house. So I love that find. So I hope this encourages you to get out there and shop. I personally don't need a lot of encouragement to do that when it comes to plant shopping, but it's a great time to save a little money and even get a few free plants. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love bringing these videos to you, and I really appreciate all of you at home. Thanks for watching.